Go.
So, after taking out my AllPondSolutions pump, I'm going to strip it down because it has stopped working. May need cleaning, so I'm going to have a look at it and see what the problem is. So, yeah, obviously unclip it at the side of your cover. A sponge comes out, and then you have your main pump and your UV bulb in this side, and then your biological filter and coarse filter stuff in here. So, yeah, pump. This separates. So I'm going to have a look at the impeller to see what the impeller's like. It seems fine. And now I'm going to open up the housing here. And strip the whole thing down and clean it. Just move this impeller out of the way. So there's a little catch, a little lock. I'll just get a screwdriver, pop it open, twist and pull. And there you have your bulb. That bulb can pull out, change it if you want. And then leave that to one side. And then you have your crystal or glass, which is sealed. So I'm just going to check the seals in this. I'm just going to pop it out gently. Make sure seals are all okay. So you have a seal here, that's okay. And then so it looks clean. I cleaned it there recently. You also have a seal in on the inside. So just make sure that's okay. Unfortunately, these should separate, but from new they're absolutely seized together, and there's no way I can physically open that to check the seal inside, but looking at it, it seems fine. So I'm going to leave it intact, and that's basically your pump stripped. Okay, so we have the bulb back in, and we have the pump together with the impeller. So it's in its housing, and you can see the impeller inside in that pump housing. So there's a little switch in here. When you put it all together, this closes the switch and allow the pump to work. So I'm just going to close the switch to check the bulb. So the bulb is working. There we are. The problem is the pump is not running. So there's a problem with the pump itself. The bulb, the circuit for the bulb is working, but power either is not getting to the pump, or there's a problem with the wiring inside the pump. As you can see, this is the impeller from the pump. In this case, there's nothing wrong with the impeller. This is one of the spare impellers that came with the actual pump when you buy the pump new. So you get two impellers. One's fitted and obviously the spare. In the housing, there's a little hole here, and you have one end of the impeller shaft sits into a rubber grommet and goes in here. You have the same in the actual pump housing. Unfortunately here, sometimes it gets stuck and it won't come out. So when you're cleaning the impeller and you take out the shaft, it'll come out without the little rubber grommet. So when you want to assemble it again, just clean this down. So I'm going to take the shaft and I'm going to put it into the little rubber grommet down inside the housing of the pump. So as you can see, it's sitting there. I put in my impeller. Okay, so it's free to move. And then put my rubber grommet on. So, and then reassemble the housing. So all you do, that sits into the hole there. So you line it up, push it together, and then twist to lock. And as you can see the impeller in there. And it shouldn't be free to move again. And as you can see, it's free to move, no problem. But unfortunately, in the case of this pump, the light works, so the wiring to the light works, but I have some issue with the wiring going to the coil that's inside the pump housing. The impeller is free, but just not getting power into this coil that's in the pump housing, which creates a magnetic field and therefore turns the impeller, which is a permanent magnet. So unfortunately, I'll contact AllPondSolutions and see what the solution is, or I may have to replace the pump. In this case here, this pump is just over 2 years old. And that's it.